Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Today I have a special guest and a repeat guest. He's been on my program before, and we're going to have him on today and hopefully many more times in the future. He is Mr. Kenneth Ameduri. He is from Crush the Street, and the website is crushthestreet.com. Link is in the description below this video. You guys know what to do. Click on it, of course. Go there. Check out the newsletter. It's free. Check out all the resources. We're going to talk about, well, many things, but today is about an exciting topic, definitely exciting for me. It is AI, that's artificial intelligence, also known as machine learning. And I can't wait to learn more about that. So, Mr. Ameduri, welcome back to Looking at the Markets.
David, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it, and appreciate being on the show.
Yeah, it's always great to have you. I learned so much. We get great comments from people on YouTube. And folks, keep those comments coming. Keep those thumbs ups and the likes coming, because that lets me know that you like the guests that I have on here. All right, Kenneth Ameduri, we could talk about anything financial, of course, but I don't know about you listening to this, watching this, but I believe that AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that's the future, even though it's already here, but it really is the next explosive industry in the markets. Would you agree with that, Kenneth?
Yeah, absolutely, David. And it's one of the reasons why we produced an AI documentary at Crush the Street. We really feel like this is where the trend is going to be, and that's what we do at Crush the Street. We follow the trends. We hit precious metals hard in 2016. In 2017, we were all over cryptocurrencies, and many people have made a lot of money, 10, 20x their money with some of our crypto picks. And now we are heavily focused on artificial intelligence, and it's machine learning, like you said. But the implication is that we are seeing machines go into jobs that were menial and displace those. But we're seeing machines go into high-level jobs as well. And one of the things that we believe at Crush the Street is that 50% of the jobs in the U.S. and in the world, for that matter, will be at risk of being displaced by AI here in the next few years, because we really are outpacing Moore's Law in terms of how fast things are advancing. So it's very important to be ahead of the trend. And just to give us some perspective on efficiency and why this is happening. If you look back in the 1800s, but 98% of the economy was agriculture. 90% of the economy was agriculture. Today, only 2% of the economy is agriculture. And mostly we have machines, doing these type of jobs. And it displaced many people in the workforce. Now, what happened is technology moved along and made things 90% more efficient in the economy. Now people are doing other things, other sectors, working in other areas, and leveraging technology to do what literally the entire GDP was based on, a couple hundred years ago. And that's what I continue to expect to see going forward. And that was why we wrote a special report at crushthestreet.com/AI. I feel like people should go there, get some great information on where AI is going, and be prepared for what is coming, because it's all about building your financial moat. If you're not building that financial moat, you're at high risk of being displaced by what is coming. And machine learning is so many implications and so many things that we can talk about based on this.
Sure. So I like to repeat these because sometimes people say we go a little fast with these. That's a free report, if I'm correct, and that's at crushthestreet.com/AI. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, everyone can go there, download the report. Even if you're already a subscriber at Crush the Street, you can sign up for the report there, and it'll be emailed right to your inbox. There's no issue with even double opting in.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that link in the description of the video so people can just click on that and they'll go right to the page for the download. Very cool. Yeah, AI, machine learning. Now, there are a few things you mentioned there that might be a little scary to some people. The idea of jobs being displaced. How can people prepare for this? What if if somebody's afraid of losing their job to these machines, these robots, these computers? What can they do?
Well, I would say, there's a number of things that you can do. Number one, you can acquire assets. And the more assets you have, the wealthier you are, the more self-reliant you are, the less you'll be dependent on such a changing environment, right? I mean, that's just basic common sense. Once you can detach yourself from the grind, that's true financial freedom. But you can also thrive with this. I mean, some of the highest paying jobs out there right now are in artificial intelligence. I mean, there's stories all the time. You're hearing people making $500,000 a year because there's a shortage in jobs that are related to AI, even in cryptocurrency. Some of these developers, they were talking about it. If you're a developer in cryptocurrency, I mean, you call the shots. And again, it's about being in front of the trend. And I just feel bad for the person who spent 30 years as a truck driver and, on the verge of potentially being displaced because of artificial intelligence. And it really is going to come down to being nimble. And that's what I'm going to teach my kids. I have a 2- and a 4-year-old, and I'm teaching them that it's important to be nimble, ready to learn, because honestly, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know exactly how the world's going to look in 5 years or 10 years. I can guarantee that it's going to be very different. And the ability to learn, learning that skill is going to be highly important, because things are going to be changing very fast. And again, we don't know what we don't know. But being in very low-level jobs, menial, repetitive jobs, absolutely will be displaced. But, I mean, just look at, analytics. Imagine being someone in the stock world who analyzes reports, and all of a sudden now we have AI coming into the picture, and in real time, monitoring portfolios. Your portfolio was down 2% at 3:30 while the market was only down 1%, and doing real-time analytics. And jobs that people get paid 6 figures for to decipher and to make decisions on are going to be done by computers. And that's what I see coming. I see computers entering the workforce and displacing a lot of jobs. But I'm optimistic that a lot of new frontiers are going to be created, and you're only going to be a part of that if you stay educated, stay in front of the trend. And that's why we're discussing this right now. We're opening our minds to what is coming, because maybe prior to this interview, nobody was even thinking about this. But because we're having this conversation right now, somebody might be thinking about an industry that is as a consequence of AI that I'm not even thinking about. So that's my hope, David, is that people are starting to educate themselves and anticipate what is coming, and have that ingenuity assist in building that financial moat that we all are striving for.
Yeah. I really like the idea of, first of all, educating people, which is what you do at Crush the Street. I try to do it here at Looking at the Markets, and that's why you have the free report there, and I hope everybody downloads that for themselves to learn about it, because I believe in self-education as well as availing ourselves of the best research out there. Now, one thing that people who watch and listen to my program always want to know is this investable? Is it tradable? How can I profit from this? And that's a legitimate question. Okay, we know about artificial intelligence. We know it exists. We know we have to take it seriously. But, for example, if you say, well, maybe if I invest in Google stock or Alibaba stock, yeah, those have some exposure, a little bit, to artificial intelligence, but not that much. That's not a pure play. That's not a great way to get in, at least the way I see it. So is this investable, and how can we do this?
It absolutely is. And that's one of the things that we're doing here at Crush the Street. We're looking at the trends. Now, as much as we put our trust and kind of anticipating what is going on with artificial intelligence and machine learning and how smart machines are becoming, we still have to back people. And that's something that's very important to us here at crushthestreet.com. And our number one pick in the AI sector, we have it at crushthestreet.com/live. It's our number one pick for AI in 2018. And I highly recommend people go there, download the report, get all the details on this specific play. And, it's trading at a very, very good price right now. And again, it's our number one pick. So even some of the insiders have bought at some of the higher levels. And here we are today looking at the stock at a really good price. So again, if you want the specifics on that company, visit crushthestreet.com/live.
crushthestreet.com/LIVE live. Tell you what, I'll put that in the description as well. That along with /AI. Those are 2 free reports people can download right now. Pretty cool. I love the freebies. I love the research that you guys are doing over at crushthestreet.com. And there's also a newsletter on the homepage. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can visit we post regularly there at Crush the Street. We got a number of contributors there. Just staying on the pulse of the trend. So you can visit the site regularly and get your really alternative news, because that was one of the reasons why we started Crush the Street. You have the Main Street outlets that, the legacy news outlets that have been around for years, but then the internet comes around and really gives the people the opportunity to share information, not biased information, but information, and not be controlled by just the major outlets. So, and I know a lot of people are frustrated with what YouTube is doing, censoring, but at the same time, I'm also very grateful for YouTube because to a certain degree, it has allowed a lot of information, a lot of truth to be shared by people who would have never have learned many of these things. I think just the trust of the government and the mainstream media has been very exposed just because of YouTube and the internet. And so I'm very grateful for that. And that was why we started Crush the Street, opting out of conventional wisdom. It's a very important thing. Just to give you an example, who was talking about cryptocurrencies when it was a good time to buy cryptocurrencies? It wasn't the mainstream media, right? It wasn't CNN, CNBC, these major financial outlets. It was YouTube, it was Reddit, it was these other platforms that were opening up the eyes and really on the cutting edge of technology and finance that were sharing this type of information. And that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of, the internet. I'm proud of, where things are going, and it's a very exciting thing.
I totally agree. I view Crush the Street and other YouTube outlets and alternative media platforms as my main source, my main information and research source, not the mainstream media, not the traditional outlets, because I believe they are a lagging indicator. They'll jump on a bandwagon way too late. They get in at the top and then they panic and they trot out their markets in turmoil graphics at the worst possible time, stoking the fears and causing more people to sell at the bottom. It's really terrible. So I really appreciate what you're doing. And I just wanted to ask about, we're talking about the growth of AI. How much growth is there going to be? I mean, are we talking about, because AI has already grown quite a bit. As we've mentioned, the evolution from an agricultural-based economy to a more automated economy. So with artificial intelligence, machine learning already having grown quite a bit, can there be exponential growth in the future, and how much will this be?
Yeah, just to give you an example, I mean, we talk about Moore's Law and how everything was getting, double the speed, and, the transistors were getting smaller and smaller and smaller in computers to, accelerate computer power and memory and speed until it got to the atomic level, and then there was no room for growth anymore. And then right when we get to a physical limitation, we go beyond physics and we have quantum computing, which has now, opened up a world of exponential amounts of computer growth. And So I really don't think there's any stopping of how smart and how powerful, unfortunately, machine learning is going to get. And, we talked about the internet. When you have all these machines connected on the internet in this decentralized pattern, communicating with each other, updating each other, it's almost impossible to conceive of humans competing with that. And one of the things that humans are already passing this idea around with is, chipping people. I know that scares a lot of people because it's a breach of privacy for convenience. We're always dealing with that in the 21st century now. But if you can get chipped, you basically can merge humans and AI together. So, humans don't get left behind. You can be updated. You can learn something. If you learn something and you want to upload it into my chip, we have the ability to do that. And they're actually doing that. They're testing this already on rats and other animals, and they're having success doing this. So I think the next 5-10 years are going to be massively changed with what AI will bring. And I can tell you, even countries like China, for instance, with this one-child policy, who are extremely top-heavy with their demographics. One thing people aren't talking about is not only could immigrants fill this gap, but what about AI? What about robots entering this space and doing the jobs that were otherwise needed to be done by humans, but now done by robots, and figuring out a way to tax these robots and make money off of this? I think not only is technology signaling AI to move forward, but governments are going to be addicted to this. It's going to be an arms race, just like we've seen with nuclear aspects. It's going to be an arms race for who's going to be ahead in artificial intelligence. And, I think that's going to have a lot of implications. Again, so many things we can talk about, machines in the medical field. And again, if you get chipped, all of a sudden, now you can be monitored on a real-time basis. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe some people would like that, to be able to say, hey, I'm about to have a heart attack. And then all of a sudden, there's some bells going off in the chip that's linked to some doctor's office. Again, a major breach of privacy for the convenience of maybe staying alive a couple more years, right? So we're going to be seeing this balance for the rest of our lives, really. There's going to be this balance of privacy and convenience and luxury. And I think our world's going to look a lot different, even in 5 to 10 years. Things are moving so fast.
Yeah, definitely moving fast. But I get the impression that people who invest in AI technology stocks now, especially the good ones, I don't think they'll have to wait 5 to 10 years to see a robust profit. For people who position themselves now, will they start to see profits in 2018? How long is it going to take?
Well, when it comes to specific companies, I believe that there's going to be catalysts that get these first movers out in front. And for instance, like the company, we're our number one company at Crush the Street for 2018. It's the people that are out in front of this trend. And I believe that being out in front of the trend, all this company would need to do is really open up its wings and allow the wind to carry it. And I think that's what it's going to really come down to, is backing the right people that are smart to be in front of this trend, and, attaching yourself to that, because that really is security when you think about it. It's you're not so concerned about having to find something that is going to be profitable, but you already know that you're backing a winner who's most likely going to handle your money responsibly and do a good job with it. So that's why we do this. That's why we do this here at Crush the Street. We've backed the right people. We get behind the right trends. And yeah, absolutely. I think 2018 could be a massive year for AI, really come on to the forefronts of the mainstream, and a lot of people talking about it. But that's why we are talking about it now, before it gets into the headline news to a large degree.
Got it. But only for people who position themselves early. We talked today about being an early mover, first mover. Don't try to get in after the mainstream media is already talking about it, when it's already on the front page. By then, we'll have already taken profits here at Looking at the Markets, and I imagine at Crush the Street as well, because they'll let you know when their research team not only gets in, but also when they get out. I really appreciate all the tips and all the insight today. I know you're not necessarily going to give us that one stock you're looking at. I think people are going to have to download the report to find out for themselves. And that's, tell me if I'm right, crushthestreet.com/live, LIVE. They can get your number one pick in that area, correct?
Number one pick there, crushthestreet.com/live. And we'll not only be doing that one, we'll be announcing more here in the future. We're doing a lot of due diligence right now, and if you want to get the news, get the updates, go to crushthestreet.com, sign up for the free newsletter. We pour our heart and souls into what we do there, and it's very exciting. We have a great community there of people, and I love what I do, and I love helping people. That's why I do what we do. Opt out of conventional wisdom, everybody. Mm-hmm. Don't be a ward to the state. Don't be dependent on conventional wisdom leading you to the slaughter. That's what we try to help people to get away from. And again, David, thanks for having me on the show again.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I've been speaking with Mr. Kenneth Ameduri. Go to crushthestreet.com/live and also /AI. Get the reports. Then go to the homepage at crushthestreet.com. Get that free newsletter. Sign up for it. Why not? It's free. It's the best research available, and make your own decisions. I think you'll be very happy when you do. Thanks a lot, Mr. Kenneth Ameduri. We hope to have you back again very soon and very frequently here on Looking at the Markets. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, David.